What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the garage, and today we're going to check out the oxygen sensors and get them swapped out, so stick around. Okay, everybody, welcome back to the garage, and as I said, we are going to kind of be doing some videos here that are going to be more like the blog format. I'm not going to spend a lot of time setting up the tripod, the 4K camera, the live mic, all that jazz. Now, if you absolutely hate the fact that I'm not doing that on these like real quick Project Country Club updates, let me know down in the description. I'm trying to make as many of these videos that keeps track of what all I'm doing to the car so you guys can keep up with Project Country Club. And honestly, it takes so long to edit videos and stuff like that if I do it this way, man, I can shoot a video while I'm doing these modifications and get the video out ASAP. Now, whenever we get into tuning specific things and we start talking about the different steps that we're going through for tuning, I'll set everything up. And that will be the higher quality videos. But for this stuff, it's just going to be more of the, as I said, the vlog style videos. That out of the way, as always, thanks to all the new subscribers. Man, we are very close to 8,000 already. I can't believe it. You guys are amazing. It's just been great. It's awesome. Appreciate all the support. Appreciate everybody that's been out there sharing it. Tuning101.com takes you right to our YouTube page. And today, I am just kind of doing a couple different things. One of the big ones is the wide bands on Project Country Club. The front ones are wide bands, the O2 sensors. And so because of that, I need to replace those with standard narrowband sensors. Really interesting thing about this, though, is the sensor connectors. This is the front, or sensor connector. Here is the rear oxygen sensor connector. So they come all the way up on top of the engine. Kind of interesting. You want to talk about long O2 wires. This one goes quite a ways down there. The front sensor is just right down there behind the steering rack. Can't really see it now. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to come in, remove these, and do a harness swap, probably, obviously closer down. And then we're just going to go with the standard LS narrowband sensor because they're cheap. You can get them for like 15 bucks each. But as I said, once that's all said and done, we will have this connector still here. Then we will have the appropriate connector. I've got some over here in this magic pile of junk. We will have the appropriate narrowband connector to hook up to a couple of cheap Chinese narrowbands. That solves that problem. Eventually, we're going to have to drop the headers off to install a wideband bung. I'll be honest, there's not a lot of room, so I'm probably going to end up doing the pull the narrowband out and put the wideband in on this one for the time being. On top of it, I'm painting one of these rims. These rims are just terrible. The plating is just chipping off on them real bad. So I've got a temporary solution for the front. We'll talk about that later on. I wanted to paint a couple of the more better condition ones for the rear, and I'm not doing much other than taking a wire wheel to them and just grinding off the excess crap, and then I'm just going to throw a couple layers of primer and then paint them black and be done with it. Nothing fancy. Do not care about these. They're going to be throwaways eventually. So I'm just doing small stuff while I have the time. That being said, waiting on new injectors. They're showing up today. There will be a video specifically about why we're going to different injectors already on this. And we'll get into different injector tables in HP tuners on the same ECU. The same ECU can use multiple different injector tables that you don't have access to. I've talked about this in the past. So that's something that you're going to want to check out. Make sure and keep your eyes peeled on that. Trying to think of what else. We got to do a MAF sensor swap. We're going to go over to the card style. This one uses a 4-wire, which is about the only platform that uses a 4-wire MAF. We're going to go over to the standard card style 5-wire. The 4-wire uses the IAT in the MAF also. This one will, but because of the 5-wire requires basically an ignition power source, we will be doing an auxiliary fuse box. Cool thing is we've got a nice little area in here that we can do an auxiliary fuse box, and we're going to need it for other devices anyways. That battery, 90 PS, weird size battery, That AC Delco battery, that's a $400 freaking battery, and that one's dead. So they make a cheaper, you know, generic ass one that we'll get and put in there. But man, I almost had my breath taken away whenever I saw that battery. On top of it all, we've got to clean up the harness still. And I've got pins coming, so I'm going to eventually come back in, clip all these wires back behind the splices, put new pins on, and we'll have to relocate it. And then we've got to permanently jumper out the TCM, the factory TCM. A viewer, super awesome viewer named Nick, is hooking me up with a TCS or a TCM 2000 by PCS. And they have a factory harness adapter that I've ordered that plugs directly into the midline, the midship connector for the transmission. It's almost as plug and play as you can get for a TCM. So I'm supposed to meet up with him this weekend to grab that. I don't know when the harness will be in, but that solution is basically done. So I will disable any TCM codes on the ECM, and then we will have standalone programming that will also work for a 4L60 or a 4L80 when we eventually go that way. I was going to go Power Glide, but I think I'll do a 4L60 because I think it's an easier, cheaper swap on this setup, and it should be good for the kind of horsepower that we're eventually going to make on this thing. But that'll also probably be after we blow the motor. The question will be whether or not we blow the motor first or the transmission. But that all being said, I'm going to get these O2 sensors jerked out. We'll put them over on the bench, which is just absolutely messy right now. And we'll kind of build the harnesses and put the new ones in. Stick around. Okay, we just had mail call. Boom. I don't know if you can see that, but fuel rail with fuel injectors. That is the XLRV fuel rail with the XLRV fuel injectors, brand new in the box. 65 bucks. What? Yeah, that's the only benefit to this car is buying XLR parts. Supercharger like $350, brand new in the box with a throttle body even. Like injectors, fuel rails, 65 bucks. Now, that being said, on top of that, I got the new cam sensors in, and from Mauser, I got the connectors to switch the connectors over to fit the new cam sensors. So between that and the oxygen sensors, which I have taken off the vehicle and I'm getting ready to build the harness, those are the last things that are really throwing check engine lights as far as the sensors go. So we get this swapped out, we get this swapped out, and we should be able to throw in the new injectors, have the correct fuel scaling. I'll get into that whenever we do the injector swap, why the fuel scaling was off, and it has to do with that fuel table. But for now, let's take a look at this part of it, which is, let me make sure the light's not too bright over there. The O2 sensors. So these are wideband O2 sensors. They've got a unique connector on the end of them. We are going over, as I said, to the standard GM connector. That's a 4-wire. It's going to be 2 wires for the heaters and then a high and low reference. So I've gone in through the diagram, and funny enough, the rear O2 sensors use this standard 4-wire, so I can follow kind of the pin-out diagram for that to pin those out. So that all being said, I've laid them out here to see what the difference is, because I got to make sure it's long enough to get to the original connectors. By the time I come in here, connect this on here and bring it up to there, it's almost perfect. So I'm going to be able to pretty much cut these right there, solder them together, heat shrink it all up, and then I will have a nice factory connection here and a factory connection there, and it'll all work together. So I'm going to jump in and do that. I'm not going to record this because, I mean, you guys really need to see me do the soldering and stuff like that, but once we get done, we'll take a look at it. Okay, so I got one of the harnesses done here, all nice and tightly heat shrinked in there, and I cut enough of this insulation off that hopefully I can just kind of slide it out over here like so. And that red one is the spare wire for the O2 sensor. You can tell because it's going into this extension here that is part of the heater or the pump circuit, which of course we're not using now. And there we have it. Now we have our new jumper harness that plugs into the new style, which is the 4-wire narrowband sensor, but will utilize the factory harness. quick, easy, simple, the way I like it. Everything's clean. As I said, it almost looks nice and OEM. Fit up underneath the hood nicely. Everything will be clean. So that's about it for right now. As I said, there's going to be a lot more content coming out here in the coming days as we dive into the cam sensors, swapping those out to the right style cam sensors. We'll have to depin these connectors, and actually we're not going to depin these because I bought new pins, so we can just cut these off and wire those over to the new harnesses. Hopefully there's enough slack on these to make the cuts and still have plenty of wire. If not, we can always extend. Other than that, then we will be doing the fuel rail replacement. In fact, I don't even think we're going to replace the fuel rail for now because the connection's a little bit different back here. Not sure what this is. If you know what that is, drop it down in the comments and let me know. Could be some kind of regulator, I don't know. But the fuel injectors are the same length. They're Siemens Deca longs, and the connectors are the same. So I should be able to just swap out the connectors and get the new fuel injectors in. So that is what's going on this next weekend. Of course, we'll take a look at this. Wheel's about ready to receive some paint. The crappy primer job I did on it's about dry enough to throw some paint on it and just make it look a little less crappy. So that's it for now. Project Country Club, lots of content coming out. The live show is tonight. I probably won't get this out before the live show, but make sure you stop by the live show. Let me know what you think about the vlog style for Project Country Club. If it works for you guys, if it doesn't, let me know down in the comments. Thanks for stopping by the garage. If you got any questions on some of the stuff I'm going through here and why we're doing it or all that jazz, just hit me up. And there's going to be some more tuning videos very soon. We are going to get to the point of tuning Project Country Club here in the next week or two. And they will be very, very in-depth Gen 4 tuning videos. So guys that are looking for that kind of information, if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe. You don't want to miss it. Remember, ABT, always be tuning. Thanks for stopping by the garage.